I've won back your memories from the Void's corruption.
Hi, you're going to have to excuse my voice because I'm a little sick at the moment. But I was watching some other videos actually on how to get through the Guilty, and they all were using arcanes and Riven mods that I didn't have, so I figured I'd make a video of how to get through it without using a bunch of crazy expensive mods and arcanes that you'd have to spend a bunch of platinum on. So with that being said, let's get into it, starting with the Archon shards. We got casting speed and ability strength. None of these are super crazy. This will just speed up the mission. For the actual build, I know I'm running Prime Flow here, but if you don't have it, normal flow will do just fine. You might have to manage the amount of times you use Blessing a little bit more, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. I probably should have just done this for the sake of the video. Arcanes, if you just have one for Aegis, it'll be totally fine. If yours isn't maxed out, neither is mine. Arcane Expertise, I would highly recommend that, especially with Boreal's Hatred and Adaptation. It just gives you a lot of extra breathing room for if you accidentally get hit with the magnetic procs or get forced out of your abilities. As long with Rolling Guard, it gives you a bunch of survivability. With Vampire Leech, kind of the whole thing that this build is based around is Vampire Leech and Energy Vampire working on all of the bosses. So you can just kind of spam things. And that being said, we're using Boreal's Hatred because it's not that big of an optimization to have this in. If you want to use Intensify and drop 2 of these Archon shards, you absolutely can. And I would highly recommend using Prime Sure-Footed if you have it over Handspring, but again, for the sake of the video, I wasn't using it. My Burst-In build, the only thing in here that's hard to get your hands on is Primed Cryo Rounds. If you don't have that, using a 60-60 will absolutely be totally fine. It's just for essentially the first phase of the last fight to get through it. It's a minor increase in damage, but the main thing that you're going to be getting your damage from is that extra void damage for when you're slingshotting. So if you don't have it, it's not going to be that big of a deal. For the Epitaph build, crazy build that I'm running. I don't have an arcane on here. And even if you don't want to put a catalyst on here, this will do just fine. But Perpetual Agony is surprisingly nice, as well as the Sure Shot. So you can just huck a few shots at all the Commandeered Warframes or the bosses from the second fight, then just kind of forget about it for a while. Surprisingly nice. Okina, I wasn't using them at all. Here's the build that I run. I'm not a huge fan of melee, so I was just mainly using it for the movement speed because I don't have the Praetos yet. For my pet, he was dead most of the time. There you go. Oh, something to note about this, though, is with Duplex Bond, it seems like it can bug out the Commandeered Warframes and giving them a bunch of extra invincibility when Trinity's still up. So if you're running into issues with having an invincible Trinity just running around that you can't get past, I'd highly recommend dropping. I think it's Duplex Bond that messes with it. And there you go. There's a build that I normally run. As far as focus schools go, it's super crazy. If you don't have this fully upgraded, again, neither do I. It's totally fine. We're mainly just going to be using it for the last phase of the first 2 fights the last phase of the first fight and then the second fight, just to get through it a little bit quicker, but they're not necessary to use the Taron Strike, but it is super convenient to have. And there you go. That's the build I was running. Oh, the Mesha build I was using. I have over... Sorry, I'm a bit sick at the moment. Sure, as you can tell in my voice, but yeah, I still never got around to building out an Archwing. I'm over 2,000 hours in the game, but... And here's the Mausolon build I was using. I have the endo and everything necessary to max this out with extra mods and credits and whatnot. I just wasn't using it because, But yeah, there you go. I'm also using Resolute Focus here, but that's not the best thing. You should probably be using, just swapping out for Containment Breach for some extra damage is absolutely what I would do. But I normally just have this on for when I'm running around with an Archwing, but I'm going to probably swap that out. I didn't even know I had this in here. But yeah, there you go. There is the build I was using for the video. And if you want to get through the Guilty solo, but you don't want to spend a bunch of plat or go out and grind a bunch of stuff that you probably don't have, there you go. thanks you so much for watching, and if there's anything that I missed out on that's a really good tip that you found for going through the guilty, feel free to drop in the comments, and like, comment, and subscribe. And if you don't like the build, yell at me, feel free to tell me why it's all bad and wrong. Okay, thanks.